Through Bank of Industry, this government extended the single-digit interest rate loans to manufacturers.
Inauguration of new Bank of Industry towers, President Buhari hails bank's developmental impact.
We've spoken with the Nigerian Air Force, and anytime we're ready to travel, we will have to escort the train.
The federal government strategizes on countermeasures against attacks on rail lines.
This project will radically change the trading exchange between the two countries.
Nigeria and Niger fine-tune cross-border insurgency response mechanism.
So in the past, people had to send their samples to Canada or to South Africa. Now we have a laboratory in Kaduna. They can do all analysis.
Also tonight, Minister loads impact of 30 billion naira mines development intervention fund. Good evening and many thanks for joining us. This is NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. And I am Kenan Imba Abodikel. Hingana John Adams will be joining us from Lagos. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Nigeria and the Republic of Niger have resolved to remain steadfast in their renewed onslaught against insecurity, which continues to undermine efforts at achieving peace and stability in the two countries and the sub-region. This came to light after a high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and his Nigerian counterpart, Mohamed Bazoum, in Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the two leaders also discussed issues relating to the economic well-being of the two neighboring countries.
This is the first state visit to Nigeria by President Mohamed Bazoum of the Republic of Niger since coming to power on the 2nd of April last year. The reception accorded him by President Muhammadu Buhari was warm and indeed befitting. The Nigeria-Niger relations, based on a long common border as well as shared cultural and historical roots, have over the years been robust and very cordial. President Bazoum is here to seek ways and means of deepening and expanding the relations between the two neighboring countries for enhanced socio-economic well-being. And this dominated the high-level talks with President Muhammadu Buhari as well as the two countries' respective delegations held behind closed doors. Speaking to newsmen shortly after, President Bazoum described the talks as fruitful.
Créer les conditions d'une plus grande stabilité.
My visit coincides with a very big operation that is taking place jointly in the Lake Chad Basin region against the terrorists. And this big operation is being conducted by MNJTF, the Multinational Joint Task Force. And as you know very well, the operations of the Multinational Joint Task Force is funded almost entirely by Nigeria. I want to reiterate my commendation and thanks to President Muhammadu Buhari, who, because of his support, this operation is going on, and will certainly help in providing security in addressing the challenges that both countries are facing. I should also mention that we have cooperation, defense and military cooperation between the two countries, but I must also greet the efforts being deployed by the governor of Zamfara State. And also what happened recently, just a couple of days ago in Kaduna, indicates that there is a change in the level of threats that we are facing, and which means that we have to also divine a new strategy to be able to address this threat that is now growing.
The Nigerian leader used the opportunity to express his country's formal appreciation to Nigeria for the ongoing Kano Maradi rail project.
D'intégration des économies du Niger et du Nigeria.
And this project is an infrastructure that is that will integrate the two economies, the economies of Nigeria and Niger. I want to thank His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari for his effort for ensuring that this project has taken off, and I hope that it will be sustained, because this project will radically change the trading exchange between the two countries.
Governor Bello Muhammad Matawali of Zamfara State and his Borno State counterpart, Babagana Zulum, described the joint efforts between Nigeria and Niger to tackle insecurity as appropriate and most ideal.
I'm so glad because you heard the president of Niger did mention about strengthening the operations of the multinational joint task force. They are currently operating in the shores of the Lake Chad. That means that boils down to what I've been saying before. I had advocated several times on the use of the platform of the MNJTF to defeat the insurgents who are harboring on the shores of the Lake Chad. That operation is now currently undergoing, and I think such kind of operation is needed to ensure that the insurgents are defeated in the shores of the Lake Chad.
Like that we have border with Niger Republic. What we are doing is that if we have any information about bandits that coming from either exit Niger, then we are going to push them from Nigeria. Then we allow the Niger security to monitor and push them so that we can collectively fight these criminals. So this is what we are doing day and night in Zamfara and Niger Republic.
President Muhammad Bazoum has since returned to Niamey, the Nigerian capital city. From Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The Bank of Industry has officially been issued a fresh mandate to expand its theatre of business operations to all parts of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive while inaugurating the bank's Tower 2 building in the Central Business District of Abuja. The president said the impact of interventions by the financial institution must also be felt across Nigeria. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again has the details.
Regarded as Nigeria's largest, oldest and most successful development finance institution, the Bank of Industry completed its first 12-story tower building in 2010. This second tower, designed to be sustainable, eco-friendly and futuristic, is also a 12-story building representing the bank's vision for the future, that is to, amongst others, promote the emergence and development of a virile and competitive industrial sector in Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari, who described the world-class edifice as a representation of the bank's contribution to the growing list of work-related infrastructure in the FCT, is particularly elated that it was financed from internally generated revenue. He noted with satisfaction that the Bank of Industry, as a policy institution of the federal government, is successfully executing its mandate of transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
Through Bank of Industry, this government extended the single-digit interest rate loans to manufacturers. In furtherance of this mandate, the Bank of Industry has disbursed over 1.4 trillion naira to over 4.2 million beneficiaries, including micro, small, medium, and large enterprises, creating over 9 million jobs from the inception of its administration in 2015 to date.
And to further enhance the capacity of the bank for greater impact on the industrial sector, the president approved the issuance of a sovereign guarantee to help the bank raise funds in the Eurobond market. He expressed delight that the bank has recently completed the transaction by raising up to 750 million euros from international investors.
The proceeds of this Eurobond will be disbursed to large, medium, and small enterprises and women entrepreneurs with bankable projects. It is commendable that the bank sources its own funds for lending based on its investment grade ratings by the rating agencies.
We want to assure you that we will work harder to achieve more impact in the industrial sector. We have raised close to $4 billion in the last 4 years from over 100 international banks and investors from over 20 countries. We believe that in the next few years, we will increase that figure to $10 billion.
Reconstructed out of the Nigerian Industrial Development Bank in 2001, the Bank of Industry is a signatory to the United Nations Principles for Responsible Banking. It is the first Nigerian development finance institution to do so. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo is pushing for transformation of legal education in Nigeria, calling for development of analytical thinking by problem-solving legal minds. In his message to the Nigerian Bar Association Legal Education Summit themed Reimagining Legal Education in Nigeria, held at the Afe Babalola University at Do Ekiti, Ekiti State, the Vice President said legal education, like many other branches of learning, is designed to evolve and be responsive to the development of society, which goes beyond traditional four-wall classroom learning. He called for the adoption of a hybrid approach to education through extensive use of technology for teaching to decongest overpopulated classrooms in law schools across the country. He recommends that Nigeria should learn from nations that have transformed their legal training through developed structures of periodic review, and commended the leadership of the NBA for its consistent investments to improve the legal profession, legal education, and the advancement of jurisprudence. While also speaking at the opening day of an International Women Leadership Conference in Lagos, Vice President Yemi Oshibajo urged women in leadership to strengthen synergy by sharing useful skills to speed up development. He said the role of women must go beyond merely breaking glass ceilings to attain global excellence and leadership, not only striving to play and be represented, but to ultimately win. The Vice President highlighted the importance of education of the girl child, gender equity, and mainstreaming in politics and other sectors, among other salient issues affecting women. He noted that women breaking glass ceilings in industry and politics is perhaps more important than men doing the same, because women who form half of Nigeria's human resources are yet to be fully optimized due to discriminatory practices. Underscoring the growing numbers and influence of women in the Nigerian society, the Vice President acknowledged the significant roles of women as heads and chairs of multilateral and multinational organizations, industry, entertainment, technology and innovation, and successful business owners. Unity and tolerance are crucial values needed to safeguard peace and stability in a multi-religious society like Nigeria, says Vice President Yemi Oshibajo when he received a delegation of imams, Islamic scholars and Muslim leaders from across the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifadehi reports.
Vice President Yemi Oshibajo at the meeting noted that until there is engagement with the people, one cannot tell what they and others want. Engagement is so important. I believe very strongly in engagement, he says, narrating his experience since becoming vice president, and how people welcome engagement by their leaders, even in difficult circumstances. While expressing his delight at the coming of the delegation, the vice president knows that it is not often that one gets the honor of such a visit. Vice President Oshibajo urged religious and political elites to show more responsibility in ensuring peace and positive changes in society. As the Vice President notes, religious elites, just like the political elites, are responsible for ensuring positive change. The Vice President suggested the creation of a forum of religious leaders who see themselves more on a rescue mission with the purpose of forging more understanding among the citizenry. Some members of the delegation speak more on the visit.
His Excellency, the Vice President, has always expressed his love for people, regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnic disposition. And I think these leaders who have come together, who are the leaders of the various organizations and Muslim communities, have come to collaborate, to give advice, to give a lot of input into how we can continue to achieve good governance the economic development, youth empowerment, and what have you, without being distracted by our religious differences.
A myriad of challenges in this country, more especially, which you are all aware, the issue of insecurity. So we have come to ginger the government to work hard and harder to overcome this challenge. The bandits must not be given the chance to feel elated. Corrupt leaders need to be punished. People need to see corrupt people are punished. That will be the deterrence.
To be God-fearing, to be just, and not to use the religious sentiments in taking any political decision.
The State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Now, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has called on Muslims to look for the new moon of Ramadan 1443 after Hijrah on Friday, 1st April 2022, equivalent to 29th of Sha'aban. This was contained in a statement signed by the Secretary Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council of Sokoto, Yahya Muhammad Boyi. The sighting should be reported through the following telephone numbers displayed on the screen. Let's take some messages now. We'll be back. Welcome back. Don't forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Following the expiration of the tenure of the former board of the National Directorate of Employment, NTA, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reconstitution of the new board comprising 15 members. A statement by the presidency indicates that Festus Keyamo, SAN, is the chairman of the board as statutorily provided for supervising ministers of the agency. The board will be inaugurated by the supervising minister of the NDE and the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Mr. Festus Keyamo, SAN, on a date to be communicated to all appointees. Their appointment is for a period of 4 years. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has inaugurated the board of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, with a charge on the members to abide by their policy formulation role and not to engage in the day-to-day running of the organization. Anthony Forsen has the details.
Board Chairman Bashir Omolaja Bolarinwa and other members taking their oaths while congratulating the new board members. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said,
"Please note that the role of the board of any organization is to formulate policies and not to engage in the day-to-day running of the organization. The board is to evolve strategic ways of supporting the commission so it can most effectively deliver its mandate. I therefore enjoin you all to maintain a cordial relationship with the Chief Executive Officer of the Commission to engender a smooth working relationship."
He, however, noted that the most important task facing the NBC today is
to successfully transition the broadcast industry from analog to digital broadcasting through a digital switchover project. While the NBC is the implementing agency for this all-important project, a ministerial task force on DSO under my chairmanship is driving the project.
Regrettably, the minister said the target to fast-track the DSO launch this year has not been possible, and as the 2023 election draws near, he cautioned that the NBC will come under increased pressure to step up its regulatory role to prevent a repeat of what transpired before, during and after the 2019 general elections, where broadcast stations threw caution to the wind. For the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, and the Director General, NBC, harped on the expectations from the board.
The role of its governing board in assisting the Commission to effectively discharge its mandate to the Nigerian people is of utmost importance.
I would like to appeal to members of the board that there is need to work together, not just work together, but to work in harmony to improve the commission. There is no need for us to be in any rivalry, as we are all going to work toward the same goal.
For the newly inaugurated board members, they said they will carry out their task with all responsibility.
Acquaint ourselves with the workings of MBC, and most especially the issue of digital switch over. We must try as much as possible to see that the country, as the broadcast industry and the country as a whole, achieve the desired objective and meet up with the set target.
Most importantly, we will remember at all times that we're going to operate in the best interest of Nigeria as a country and Nigerian people.
The board has 3 years tenure. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
More federal government-owned enterprises have now been included in the second phase of the Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative in a bid to shore up the nation's revenue. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, who disclosed this in Abuja at a one-day event, said the country's revenue to GDP ratio now stands at 9% as at 2021, with an 11% target by the end of 2022. Leah Katung Babatunde completes the story.
Revenue Growth Initiative SRGI was launched by the federal government in 2019 to identify, develop and implement strategies, projects, policies and initiatives to diversify and boost the revenue base of the country. It targets to achieve 15% revenue to GDP ratio by the year 2050. With the first phase over, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed say government plans to migrate the existing 10 government enterprises into the second phase of the initiative and have now included 55 other enterprises not in the first phase of the program.
Continue to work hard, make the necessary sacrifices and take the bold and decisive actions to do things differently, better, more efficient, while being mindful that the nation depends on us to generate revenue on a sustainable basis to be able to meet the development needs of our citizens.
Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, said over 1.2 trillion naira was raised in the first phase of the SRGI implementation.
I'm hoping that we will now bring all the remaining 55 federal government-owned enterprises on board and to actualize the targeted revenue figure of about 2.33 trillion for 2022.
The retreat gave an opportunity to share experiences and ideas as well as update participating agencies of developments in government's revenue generation efforts, collections and remittances. In Abuja, Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamileko Adebute, says the federal government has committed over 30 billion naira intervention fund to revitalize the solid mineral sector and to attract foreign investments for the growth and development of the mining industry. The minister said this during the weekly State House media briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
Minister of Mines and Steel Development Olamileko Adebute said the ministry has been engaging in proactive measures to unlocking the enormous potentials of the mineral resources of the country, with emphasis on coal, iron ore, bitumen, gold, limestone, as well as lead zinc and barite. The minister added that the availability of these resources in a commercial quantity out of the 44 mineral resources deposited across the country has necessitated the ministry to ensure that the roadmap of the growth and development of the Nigerian mining industry formulated in 2016 is actualized. The minister also explained that the ministry adopted a proactive approach geared towards strengthening institutions and governance, build a strong geoscience base, as well as creating an enabling environment and enhancing industry participation.
Our research laboratory in Kaduna has been enhanced to world standard. If you find anything, it has to be analyzed. When you dig and go to the ground, So in the past, people had to send their samples to Canada or to South Africa or at times to Australia so that they can do the analysis for you. What you have found is 50% gold, is 1% sand, this and all that. Now we have a laboratory in Kaduna. It can do all analysis. It doesn't get better than that. Thanks also to President Muhammadu Buhari.
The minister also told journalists that apart from the launch of Made in Nigerian barite, the ministry also established mining-related clusters in 6 geopolitical zones of the country, including Goldsmith Factory in Kano, Kaolin Processing Company in Bauchi, Lead Processing Plant in Ebonyi, as well as barite in Cross River State, among others. This is in addition to the establishment of a jury-making training center in Abuja for the Train the Trainer program with participants from across the country.
When we come to minerals, we still have issues with state government, thinking that, oh, the minerals in my state belongs to me, and they want to get active in that sector. So what we've done is that states can participate in mining, but not as subnationals, but as corporate. So we encourage state governments to form their own companies and, of course, come and participate. A lot of states have done this.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development assured Nigerians of the government commitment towards complementing and commissioning of all projects, including bitumen auction, automation of the mining cadastral system to meet international standards for online mining titles and license application and approval. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for an end to the murders, kidnappings and sexual assaults by rival cult groups against their opponents, which have spiraled in states, Ogun State in particular. In a statement, President Buhari, who was reacting to reports reaching him on the renewed cult violence with Ogun State as the new battlefront, said the police and other law enforcement agencies must confront head-on groups seeking to destroy peace and bring disorder before they gain strength. It has been reported that the clashes between the Eye and Aye cult groups have persisted, lasting for over a week following the killing of key leaders of both groups. Turning out to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives today offered special prayers during plenary in honor of those killed in recent attacks in parts of the country and for an end to the challenge of insecurity in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that all items on the order paper were also stepped down.
Solve all the problems of insecurity. All this we pray the mighty name of Jesus.
The prayer by House members for the repose of the souls of victims of insecurity and for divine intervention climaxed the debate on the security breaches being experienced in the country. A motion of urgent public importance on the need for authorities to address incidents of killings and kidnappings in Birnin-Gwari and Giwa in Kaduna State from Shehu Balarabe was the opener of what became an avalanche of lamentations on the state of insecurity in Nigeria.
Between 24 March 2022 to 28 March, over 117 people have been killed, and some corpses are still yet to be recovered.
Giwa has been engulfed by banditry, crisis and killings for the past 2-3 years. Coincidentally, in a state that we call Kaduna State, where you have the representation of Nigerian military and other security agencies.
In Zaria City, kidnappers entered and kidnapped a lot of people, destroyed a lot of property. Are we saying that the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Police, the DSS, with all the training that they have had, that a ragtag army of 16, 17, 18-year-old boys are more powerful than them?
That the truth of the matter is security in Nigeria has become a cash cow business.
Not too long ago, we were all shouting about integrity chiefs, and the president listened and changed all of them. Where are we?
Deployment of appropriate technology is very key and sine qua non for the success of the fight against insecurity in this country.
The federal government to implement as a matter of urgency the resolutions of the security summit that was conducted by this house, even where there are intelligence reports, what happened in terms of the executing agencies? Collaboration, I want to say, is quite very, very low. In sympathy with the families of those we lost in the various incidences, will adjourn the House.
All items listed on the order paper were stepped down in honor of victims of insecurity. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Away from the National Assembly, the federal government is assuring Nigerians that it will do all within its powers to restore confidence in public transportation by boosting measures to guarantee passenger safety against attacks. Minister of Transportation Chibike Amechi gave the indication after visiting the 2 hospitals in Kaduna, where some victims of Monday's train attack are undergoing treatment. Oyinaya Kaloka reports that the minister assured the victims that the federal government will take care of their medical bills and provide other necessary support.
The Minister of Transportation, Chibike Amechi, at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, interacting with some of the victims who are still struggling with pains and the trauma of their attack, but strong and grateful to tell their stories.
They entered, matching people. They will match, hold chairs, and then swing themselves. And I saw when they pregnant in my presence.
Here at the 44 Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna, 25 victims were admitted who were affected by the attack. Right now, only 7 are remaining. The other ones have been discharged.
And some that we also discharged will be followed up in the hospital. So we've told them when they should come back for removal of stitches and to also look at their psychological state.
At St. Gerard's Catholic Hospital, out of the 11 patients admitted, 10 have been discharged. Words of encouragement from the minister, who thanked the management of the hospitals for their efforts in providing treatment to the patients. He said efforts is on to locate the missing passengers from the attack. Construction work for the repairs of the damaged tracks, he says, will commence soon.
I'm sure that by the time we finish the repair of the tracks, we should be able to, we would have gotten approval for the security equipment, and we would also possibly have installed. But even if we don't install, we've spoken with the Nigerian Air Force, and anytime we're ready to travel, we will have to escort the train.
The visit of the minister, the victims say, rekindled their hope and gratitude to the government. Oyinaya Kalo Oka, NTA News.
In another development, the Federal Ministry of Transportation has denied media reports making the rounds that the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has asked Nigerians to liaise with hospital management for treatment of the victims of Kaduna train attack. In a statement, the Director of Press of the Ministry, Eric Ojekwe, explained that it was a false and misrepresentation, adding that the Minister said the Nigerian Railway Corporation to liaise with the hospital management and see how they can contribute for the treatment of patients. Meanwhile, the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai, is calling for the establishment of a military base between Rijana and Katari in Kaduna, saying it will go a long way in strengthening security along the Abuja-Kaduna train service route. The governor made this known when he received the Minister of Transportation, Chibike Amechi, at the Government House. Oyinaya Kalwaka once again reports.
It was a thank you visit to the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, for the state government's efforts since the train attack occurred. The visit was an opportunity for both parties to rub minds on the best way to provide security along the routes.
The Army, the Air Force, the police on the ground should just go after these people. We know where their camps are, we know where they are, we have their phone numbers. The SSS listens to the conversation there and they give me the reports. I get reports regularly that say that this is about to happen. This is being planned. We know where these people are. Why are we waiting for them to attack and then we respond? Why can't we go after them? We are in a state of war.
They need to review the timing of the train movement to exclude evening ride from 6 p.m. was suggested by the governor.
The last train from Abuja to Kaduna, and the last train from Kaduna to Abuja should leave by 4 o'clock so that it gets to its destination in daylight. That way, if anything is to happen, the response of the security agencies will be in 30 minutes, will be faster.
NTA News.
Nigeria must be firm despite the issue challenges on the journey to energy transition. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simbi Wabote, gave the advice at the 2022 edition of the Oloibiri Lecture Series in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Oloibiri, a community in the swampy mangroves in Bayelsa State, hosting the first oil well some 68 years ago, a well that for a long gone dry. Oloibiri still active in the nation's oil and gas industry. Society of Petroleum Engineers for years now organizes the Oloibiri Lecture Series. 2022 edition focuses on global energy transition, implications on future investment in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. Executive Secretary, Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simbi Wabote, one of the guest speakers, and for him, energy transition comes naturally, and such provides opportunity for indigenous companies to show their prowess.
The divestment case has brought about a bittersweet experience for countries like Nigeria. On one hand, the divestment has resulted in the emergence of indigenous companies playing a major role in exploration and production activities. On the other hand, divestment of the IOCs and their reluctance to make further investment in the oil and gas have resulted in the repatriation of capital out of Nigeria.
We believe that training and development is the single most important enabler which can be used to realize the goals and aspirations of this transition.
For the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, solutions to energy poverty is collective.
We need to consolidate our resources, develop cross-border infrastructure, and expand regional energy market to guarantee long-term energy security.
Quite revealing discussions from sound minds in the industry. Sound and actionable solutions also expected at the end of this year's series. Mie Okidi, NTA News.
The federal government has yet again extended the deadline for the National Identification Number, name verification and SIM card linkage by a few days after the March 31, 2022 deadline expired. Chimdeman DBC reports that the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy is urging Nigerians to use the new window to complete the exercise before the enforcement of sanctions on defaulters commences.
It was initially December 30th, 2020 that the federal government gave as deadline for the National Identification Number NIN verification and SIM card linkage. Since then, deadlines have been extended each time it elapses. This time around, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy has given Nigerians yet to register grace to do so within a few days. The National Identity Management Commission has also been directed to work around the clock to ensure that those yet to be registered and verified are captured. Going by statistics from the Identity Management Agency, more than 77 million Nigerians at home and 118,529 in the diaspora have so far been registered.
Yes, I have registered for NIN, which is important for every citizen to be properly numbered.
Some of my kids are yet to be registered. Even those that are registered, there were a lot of mistakes on their names. And that mistake that he did on their name is causing a lot of problem. Because to change that name, you spend a lot of money.
However, there are questions hinting on the likelihood of the National Identity Management Commission being able to clear backlogs of NIN data sent by telecommunication companies within stipulated deadline. That's aside other issues concerning technical hitches. In Abuja, Chimdema Dubisi, NTA News.
Hengino takes it up now for some reports from Lagos.
Thank you, Kenneth.
The Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative of the federal government aimed at growing the nation's tax net for the development of infrastructural projects serves as mechanism to drive sustainable economic growth. Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, stated this at the opening ceremony of a 2-day corporate retreat for senior management staff of the Federal Inland Revenue Service held in Lagos. Abolade Salami reports.
Revenue is critical as it determines to a large extent how much money is available for spending by government. This meeting with top management from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, therefore becomes necessary for the service to generate innovative ideas through its tax administration strategies for improved service delivery geared towards sustainable economic development. Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Clem Agba, who commended the performance of the service, said government has been able to execute a number of projects across the country through revenue collection from the non-oil sector. He stressed on the need to enhance the ease of doing business in Nigeria and make it pleasant for taxpayers to pay their taxes.
It means that our strategic revenue growth initiative efforts is working, and will continue to work. And the government is responsive in ensuring that what is collected is used for infrastructure.
Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, noted that the service is repositioning to deliver 60% of revenues for budget implementation for future planning.
The key option that we have as a nation is for us to be able to mobilize our own resources, utilize those resources for the good of our people, and that is the reason why we're here. And we are going to tell ourselves the truth that the only way out for government today is for us to perform.
The meeting is aimed at consolidating on the gains of FIRS reforms and provide solutions for government in tackling current fiscal challenges. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
More than 600 packages of military wares, including stun guns and army uniforms, valued at 380 million naira, have been handed over to the Nigerian army after they were intercepted at the narco shed of the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos. The customs area controller at the command, Sambo Dangaladima, says the searchlight of the agency will always fish out importers of unwholesome goods due to high premium placed on the security of the nation. Michael Olale reports.
Anybody can rob you with this. Jesus. Anybody can intimidate you with this. And this type of things must have clearance from Nigerian Army. Look at what they wrote there, U.S. Army.
Although it's stun gun, but the customs believes importation of this nature creates a safe haven for crimes to be perpetrated unabated, because aided with the use of army uniform also contained in the packages, it will be difficult for unsuspecting Nigerians to differentiate between a real and fake military officer. Along with 679 sets of drones, the seizures intercepted about 3 months ago were handed over to the Nigerian Army.
Military equipment, uniforms are not supposed to be brought in without authorization from the military. So bringing in those illegal things will be a waste of time, because at the end of the day, they will be received, they will be seized.
These bags of tea are not mere tea, but dry carts found in East Africa and parts of the Arabian Peninsula. In the real sense of it, the customs classified them as stimulants, and 78 packs worth 377 million naira were intercepted.
By the time you take this one, you'll be sleeping, you'll be lazy. You don't even think of anything. And that is why we keep on having this banditry and armed robbers all over.
Close to 5,000 tablets of tramadol imported with 34 airway bills from Indian, Addis Ababa and Hong Kong intercepted were also handed over to the NDLEA.
What we are seeing here shows that this collective quest for a drug-free Nigeria can actually be a reality. We can all come together and make sure that we deodorize our society from the whiff of illicit drugs.
Pharmaceutical drugs, including injections imported from India and Pakistan, were handed over to NAFDAC due to the absence of registration number and other required classification. With the handing over done, it is now the responsibility of the concerned agencies to carry out investigations towards unraveling corporates and their collaborators. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Time now for our second break, but before we go on that break, we would like to remind you to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News, Twitter handle at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates.
Thank you for staying with us. Benny Adams will now bring us business news.
Thank you, Kenny, and welcome to business. The Central Bank of Nigeria is partnering financial institutions to make additional funds available for businesses towards increasing Nigeria's participation in international trade. The Apex Bank governor was joined by the Minister of Trade in the call for more financing at the inauguration of the BOI New Tower in Abuja.
And not just make finance available to Nigerians, but also make this finance available at affordable interest rates.
That we have been able to approach the international capital market and concluded various funding transactions. And the most recent one, the 750 million euros senior Eurobond.
This deal represents BOI's first Eurobond, the provision of Nigeria's first Eurobond guarantee, as well as the first Euro-dominated bond transaction from Nigeria, creating a benchmark for other prospective issuers from Africa.
The Bank of Industry has disbursed more than 1.24 trillion naira to 4.2 million beneficiaries in micro, small, medium and large companies and creating more than 9 million jobs in the last 7 years. And to the capital markets, investors gained 32.87 billion naira as all share index appreciated by 0.13 points to close at 46,965.48 basis points. Market capitalization stood at 25.311 trillion naira. 256.202 million shares valued at 3.6 billion naira swapped hands in 4,227 deals. Market breadth closed a negative. And we have Fidelity, UACN and Chams as the most active to boost market turnover. That is business news. Network news continues after this break.
The Federal Road Safety Commission has approved the appointment of 2 Assistant Corps Marshals, ACM, to the rank of Deputy Corps Marshal, DCM. 4 Corps Commanders, CC, to the rank of Assistant Corps Marshal, ACM. 39 Deputy Corps Commanders, DCC, to the rank of Corps Commander, CC. And 64 Assistant Corps Commanders, ACC, to the rank of Deputy Corps Commanders. Others include 57 Chief Route Commanders promoted to Assistant Corps Commanders, 132 Superintendent Route Commanders to Chief Route Commanders, as well as 427 Route Commanders elevated to the rank of Superintendent Route Commander. In addition, the Commission also approved the promotion of 317 Deputy Route Commanders to the rank of Assistant Route Commander, as well as 76 Assistant Route Commanders to the rank of Deputy Route Commander. Others who were elevated with the mandate to proceed on term leave are 2 Assistant Corps Marshals appointed to the rank of Deputy Corps Marshals. That concludes Network News tonight. Thanks indeed for watching. Remember to join the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. I am Kenan Ima Abodike. Do have a good night.